Welcome to the Voices of the Goddess podcast. I'm Julietta, the magical PT, and joined here with my partner in crime, Allison.
Hey, I'm Allison Mancini, your wellness warrior.
And today our guest is Nikki Oden. She is the owner of Your Ideal Mom Life. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nikki.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I love what you guys are doing with this podcast. I think it's amazing. And it's right up my alley because I work with moms who are really busy, but are wanting and yearning to crush their goals and go after their dreams outside of being mommy and wife, yet have to battle a sort of beastly time management struggle. So I help them with the practical piece of managing their time, and then with that belief and that mindset that has to come along with going after your big goals.
Awesome. We're so glad you're joining us today. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay.
So I think we have our standard 4 questions that we ask everybody. So are you ready for your questions, Nikki?
I'm ready. I'm so excited.
All right. So the first one is, what is your superpower, or what would it be if you were going to choose one?
So I would say my superpower is encouraging others, especially women. And I do that, like I said, and by helping them with the practical things in their lives with moms who have really little kids. And as you know, any mom has a beastly time management struggle, like I said before. So I help them with that. I feel like I'm very, that is my superpower. I have a really good grip on how to help any woman get a grip on her time. But what I'm really doing along the way is encouraging her, like building up that belief in herself, because that's really where it's coming from. That it's that feeling like, yeah, who am I? Who am I to even have goals and dreams right now? You know, my kids are little. I should just put my wishes aside. I should put myself and my self-care aside. And I love encouraging women. I love helping them realize how amazing they are and that they have gifts and talents that the world needs. The world needs to see that. And I love helping women out of that shell.
Where were you when my kids were little?
I'm here now.
Okay, I have adult children now, but for all you moms that are listening that have little kids, Nikki, I have known Nikki. Gosh, how long have we known each other now? 5, 6 years, I think.
I feel like it's longer than that. Did I have kids when we met?
I don't know.
I guess I did have kids. They were little.
They were really little. Yeah.
Maybe 6 years. Maybe Ryan's 7 now. So
pretty much I've known Nikki. She's had little kids, and she has successfully navigated being a professional career woman along with being a stay-at-home mom, because you have been a stay-at-home mom for a long time.
Yeah. So, I love that you say successfully navigated. It took me years. Like, it took me a lot of falling on my face. I'm not going to say that I just knew how to do it. The reason I know how to do it is because I've made so many mistakes. So I really want to help women shortcut that. Like, why should you fall on your face? I've already done that. And I can tell you not to walk on that line. Right. So, right. Right. It's just, I think that's a huge part of my story is that I've had a lot of struggle with that. Right. And for a long time, I felt like I was kind of a phony because it seemed like I was really holding it together with my home-based business and being there for my kids and giving my marriage the attention it deserved. But the reality was I was like a hot mess. And through that trial and improvement, I learned a lot. So I'm really excited now to be in a place where I can teach other women those skills, and also just the mindset that they need to have with that. A lot of it is committing to yourself over and over again, especially when things get hard. Like when your kid barfs in the car, no one's expecting that, right? Like no one wants to deal with that, but it happens to us. What are we going to do? And in those moments, it's very easy to forget why you started. It's very easy to believe that you're not cut out for this, that you should just stop trying. I've been there. And so I think I'm glad now, grateful for that struggle, because I know how to get through it.
100%, you never are ready for your kid to barf in the back seat. That is true story. It's a true story.
Happened to me. It's happened to me too many times.
Me too. Yeah. Thankfully, that's just my dog doing it. So, you know.
Oh, yucky.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't have kids barfing, but my cats barf all the time.
That is legit. That's so gross.
Stepping in it when you're in a hurry and you got to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's human or fur baby barf. It's all never good.
Barf is barf.
That's true.
Exactly. No one plans for it.
All right. The next question is, what is a book that has greatly influenced your life?
I'm a huge fan of The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And I think it's touted as a business book, but honestly, it can apply to any part of your life. And I come back to that over and over again. The principles in that book have really helped me a lot. I really love it. So if you've not read it, the entire premise is that you really need to whittle things down to the one thing you can do, such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. And you apply that in every area of your life. So you might have your one thing with your business. You might have your one thing with your spirituality, with your fitness, your marriage, whatever, you know, the big glass balls that you have, big glass and rubber balls you have in your life. And I just find that it's such an effective way to look at things. And there are a lot of really cool myths that they bust in that book. And I think it's absolutely life-changing in my opinion.
Okay, so that's in my Amazon cart. I think it needs to move into my purchase part because I've had it sitting in my Amazon cart since you and I've talked about that book before. So apparently I need to read it.
I know. I keep telling you about it.
I talk about that you mentioned that book because I was looking for a different book on my bookshelf last night. And in looking for the other one, I found that one too. And I was like, oh yeah, that was a good one.
I think it's really good. It's really good. I love when they talk about the lies, the productivity lies, and like multitasking is a lie. Balance is a lie. I think there were 7 lies and they're really awesome. They're like, you know, they really make you think differently.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Our next question is, because this is super important for all the goddesses out there, we need self-care in our life. So what is your favorite? Because I'm sure you have many, but which is your favorite self-care practice?
If I had to choose one, it would be meditating. That's the one that I can always find time for no matter what's going on. And I tend to do it early in the morning. But I practice transcendental meditation, which requires 2 sessions. So I'm really good during the week about getting that early morning. And then the second one on the weekends, I sometimes only get 1 in, but it's one of those things that I do all the time. That's my one thing. That's my one thing with self-care.
Nice. Okay. Unanimous at this point. I think majority, if not all of our interviews have said meditating. I think, but except for a couple didn't say meditating, but a large, okay, if you're listening or watching and you don't meditate, please start meditating. That's all.
Yes. And I will say, I didn't start with TM. TM it's kind of a heavy lift at first. I will say that. You do have to go to a place. You have to learn it from a person. They give you a mantra and it's like school. I think it's like a 3 or 4 step process. I can't recall, but it was a commitment. So when I was first starting, I used an app called Headspace, which I loved. Because it's a guided meditation, and the guy on there is British, which I love. I really like British accents. that tickled me pink.
How did you make the choice to go with TM?
So it's interesting. I actually just heard people talking about it. My husband and I this is a long time ago, back when we didn't even know what COVID was, and we were at some kind of networking event for his job, and I met one of the clients and he was talking about it, and I feel like I had heard somebody else talk about it, maybe a celebrity, to where it wasn't foreign to me, but I didn't exactly know what it was. And I had been doing the meditation, the guided meditation, and he was like, there is nothing like this. He said, you're allowed to think. It's okay. You don't have to empty your mind, which I love. I love that. I think that's huge. And he's like, it's a physiological experience. And so he gave me the name of the place he went to in Boca here in Florida. I don't know if you have listeners all over. Yeah. And I Googled it and I signed up. I dragged my husband, but he's so great. He's really open to like improving himself. So we went and we were like, yes, we're in. And I'll be honest, it's not cheap. You do have to pay like tuition when you first learn it. But then you're like a lifetime member. You can come back anytime. And the coaches there are just, they exude, they are the epitome of what you would think of when you think of like transcendental meditation, just very calm, even keeled, like beautiful skin. It was a great experience. I can't recommend it enough.
I keep muting you can hear my puppy in the background, right? So y'all listening that are moms, whether it's fur babies or humans, yes. I don't have kids running around anymore. And I have a puppy running around with his squeaky toy and barking. Oh.
It's real life. It's real life. You know, my kids are home right now. They're normally in school, but they are virtual today because my son got sick. He got a fever. And thank God it's not COVID. We got him tested twice. But I was like, you know, mommy's going to be on a video and a podcast recording, so please don't knock on the door, but they will. They will.
I want to point out, too, we have a male listener right now. Hey, Edric, welcome to the show.
I see that, too. He said yes about, I don't know if he said about the headspace or the meditating, one or the other.
No, I was going to say, I think it was about this is real life.
Oh,
comments go up, but it could be in response to something else. Who knows?
Listen, he's giving us positive vibes no matter what. So he's throwing the yeses out there. So we're appreciative.
Yes. The last question we have is, how do you create accountability in your life?
So I have been through a very long, I suppose you could call it a personal development journey. I call it a self-discovery journey in which I accept responsibility for everything in my life. I accept the good and the bad because I created both. So I think a lot of times we're programmed to go around like, why did this happen to me? And a lot of times we think like, this is out of my control. But we create everything we experience. So I firmly believe that, having been through a lot of training with this. And so I just always come back to that. And I even like when someone's mean to me, I'm like, okay, there's something in me that like brought that out in them. There's something that I'm reflecting back to them that they don't like. So I go back and I look at that like, all right, what is it about me? I'm always trying to be the best version of myself. And then when I'm not the best version, like no one's perfect, to reflect on my role in it, because nobody's a victim here. Nobody. And I know that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, but it's absolutely true. We create everything we experience. So that's how I keep myself accountable. When I tend to fall back into old identities where I'm acting like a little brat, or I want to throw a temper tantrum, or I want to act like the victim. I want to blame somebody else for what just happened to me. I have to like, you know, my second thought, that might be my first thought, but my second thought goes back to everything that I've been learning and teaching myself over these past few years, which is that you create everything you experience.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you're writing a book right now, but I think your next book needs to be for young, older teenagers and young adults about accepting responsibility, because I think my kids are 24 and 21 and they're generally pretty good about that. But I find across the board, so many young people, and let's be realistic, adults are not good at accepting responsibility for where they're at in their lives. So it's a really hard lesson to learn, but it's such an important lesson to learn. So good for you for going through that journey.
Yeah, Julia. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be like we want to be like, that's not my fault. It's not my fault that you were late, or that person rear-ended me, right? It's very easy to say that, but like you say it in one area of your life, you're going to say it in every area of your life. And like, well, maybe if you hadn't left at the time you left, that car wouldn't have been behind you, right? Like everything is connected. So it's something I'm teaching my kids right now, like they're 7 and 8, because I don't want to deal with that when they're 16 and 17, but also I want to set them up, right? Yeah. So that they can. You're so much more powerful when you can own it.
That's what I was going to say. That is one of the most powerful things that you can do, is to accept responsibility for everything that occurs in your life. And even those you know, those moments that, you know, like, oh, that wasn't my fault, they rear-ended me. When you get to understand that you had a role in that, like, there's so many lessons and so much empowerment in that. And I don't know, like, after a while you start to see everything that I initially labeled as bad or negative in my life, like, after I passed through it and took a step back and looked at it from the outside, like, there's always been something positive to come out of everything. And, you know, so just shifting that mindset a little bit, like you said, in the beginning, it's hard. Like, you don't want to say like, everything is my fault. And it's like, there is no fault. It's not about fault, but it's just, I created this. Like, creation is like the most powerful force. And so when you look at it, that I created everything that's happening in my life, like, that is like total power. So yeah, cool stuff to shift into.
I think, and Julietta, I don't know if you remember this conversation at the lake house upstairs, when we were talking about this exact same thing, just what Nikki said about, like you said, and I know you just had this happen to you, someone's mean to you, right? And you have to look at, okay, what am I reflecting that's bringing that back? And Julietta and I kid you not, probably around the same time that you went through that, we were having that conversation, because it's so true. When people are mean to you, or they, you know, or something happens that you don't like, or, you know, what is it about you that you're putting out there that is making that? And how did you say it, Julietta? There was another way.
So like, how that started for me, like really sinking in deep, was this was a couple years back, and someone was saying mean things about me. And I was just, this meme showed up on Facebook that said, I am not what you think I am. You are what you think I am. And I was like, hey, see, it's all about her. She's, you know, she thinks I'm this. It's really her that's that. And then after I stopped and took a breath, I was like, oh, that means everything that I think she is,
right?
I am. Wow.
Right. It works both ways.
Now, yeah, it goes both ways. And, you know, so it's really a massive opportunity to step back and reflect and grow. And, you know, if you're not growing, you're dying. So get growing, people.
I agree.
Okay, so Nikki, now am I echoing again?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to talk anymore. Juliette, I'll let you wrap it up.
Well, so the last thing that we get to go through here is, what is our takeaway for the day? And so I'll give you a moment, Allison. So earlier when you were talking, like in the very beginning when you were talking, Nikki, you know, you mentioned that everybody has gifts to offer. And I think that's something that's so easy to forget. And everybody on this planet is unique and has something special to offer the world. And we all need to give that gift, because the world needs it. And so thank you for that reminder, Nikki.
Yeah, I love that.
What was your takeaway, Allison?
Okay, only if I'm not echoing. Okay, I'm not echoing. Yeah, good. Okay, so my takeaway probably is what we were just talking about the reflect, you know, when someone's mean to you, or you see something in someone that you don't like, it's usually something reflecting back about you, and really that we need to look inside and step inside ourselves to see how that's, you know, how we're putting that energy out there, I guess is the best way to say it. So I think that ever since my conversation with Julietta, and now you're just bringing it back to the forefront. And I need to apparently read the book, The One Thing, because I've been reminded way too many times now. So it obviously
it's one thing you need to do, Allison.
All right. Okay.
So Nikki, what was your takeaway today?
I think my takeaway is a little bit more on like a bigger scale of like just what you're doing, what you guys are doing here. I think is just, it's so beautiful to see other like-minded women, to see other people out there who are like, yes, I accept responsibility for my life. And, you know, I can create whatever I want, right? Like, you guys are so powerful in creating this community and this place for other people to speak and to learn. And I love what you're doing, because I know this isn't like something you've been working at for years, right? I mean, like this is a very recent creation. So I'm honored to be here, and I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you. That's very sweet. Yeah, it's exciting. So, okay, speaking of that, about empowering and sharing and all that great stuff, because I know you do have such a great message to moms. And truly, when I said that in the beginning, where were you when my kids were little? I'm very serious about that. I would have loved to have someone like you in my life to just help me out and encourage. And that is one of the great things. And one of the things I loved about you the very first time we met is Nikki is super encouraging, and she's not encouraging like I'm like, I know everything and I've done it all and I've got it. Like Nikki like admits, like, I don't always have it all figured out, but come on, we can do this. You can do this. So I would love to see y'all show Nikki some love. Visit her website. We will post it in the comments below. I know you just started a program. You want to fill us in a little bit about that so that we can give you a little bit of showcase that, because it's really actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so I just created a course for moms called Time Boss, where I teach women how to own their time, crush their goals, and lose the mom guilt. And everything that comes along with that, including overcoming obstacles, making sure your mindset is where it needs to be, the power of reflection, like looking back to see, where did I fall down so I can tweak next week or make little adjustments here and there. And we actually just closed enrollment. So right now I have a waiting list, but you can find information on youridealmomlife.com. And I also have a podcast called the Love Your Mom Life podcast, where I give tidbits and info for moms. And if I may, I also have a little free challenge that I offer, which is called the Mom Life Challenge, a free 3-day challenge. And it helps you with the habits you need to kickstart living a mom life you love. And you can find that at youridealmomlife.com/momlifechallenge.
Okay, do me a favor. Send me all that stuff real quick. A chat of Messenger or something, and I'll plug it in underneath our lives, because this is going not only to our YouTube channel, so I'll put them in there, but it's also going to Julietta's page, and it's going to my group. So we'll have all kinds of places. Okay.
We're everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. This has been awesome, Nikki. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry you're kind of sick. That's not fun.
So here's the thing. He's fine. He's like a pogo stick. He's jumping around. He's eating everything. He's like totally fine. So I don't know I'm no scientist, but it seems like it was like a 12-hour thing, because when he went to bed last night, he did not have a fever. So he got out of school, I guess.
Hey, there's crazier things that happen, right?
Yeah. Thank God. I'm just so grateful to God that it's not COVID.
Yeah. Because then you have to worry about everybody, and that's not
everybody. Fun. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was awesome. And we'll definitely get all that information for everybody in all the comments below, and have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and like us, give us some comments, show us some love, because we love you. Have a magical day, everyone.
Bye, honey.
Bye.